I don't want my clients or your clients, to spend money unnecessarily. So one of the key things that we do is we take a full synopsis of their situation. We look at what they're looking to buy. We interact with all the banks before they get to any contract signing, offers and acceptance, anything like that, and make sure they have the capacity.
So, here today with Nick Smith from Red10 Finance. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Sid.
Obviously, no introduction required, like most of the people I bring on, but management rights has been your forte. You've obviously been big banks, you've been a senior financial professional for over 35 years. I think you've transacted over $1 billion in transactions across management rights in your career. Tell me, why would someone use a financial broker for management rights?
So first off, 35 years. I did start when I was 10, so that's the first thing.
Very good.
But yeah, back to a serious note, I think it's very important to align yourself with professionals all the time. So you asked the question about why a finance broker. With a finance broker, you get different options, many different options, and management rights is a specialised type of lending. So I think if you take the time to speak to a finance professional, you'll have the different options from different banks. You'll get the best deal for you, individually, and you'll have somebody that knows what they're doing. So I think there's a challenge within our industry that people or banks understand what they're doing, and some do, but some don't. So for me, it's all about getting the right information at the right time. So using a professional finance broker, one that specialises in management rights, is definitely the way to go.
Great. Can you highlight some of the key benefits that someone can expect to receive or experience by using and engaging an industry expert like a financial broker?
Yeah, so I think, generally we have the knowledge about the industry, so we understand about the agreement terms, which will relate to the loan term. We understand about the legality side of things. So when it comes to modules, so your standard modules, your accommodation modules, because they can all relate to
Pretty
the
important
terms
stuff, yeah.
of the loan.
Yeah.
I think if you just deal with an everyday broker, and there's nothing wrong with everyday brokers, but they'll probably predominantly just deal with home loans and that kind of thing. They won't have the knowledge of the industry itself. So, and a majority of the specialised lenders, your specialised brokers, will have relationships with key stakeholders too. So your good self, and RAS 360 and all the other agents, then all the other solicitors, all the accountants, valuers. That way we can give professional advice, but impartial advice as well.
Yeah, great. Well, you've just taken my next question. My next question was going to be, are all financial brokers the same? Clearly they're not. But give us some points of difference if someone was to use Red10 or Nick Smith as a finance broker. Some of the points of difference by finding that right fit for a financial broker.
Yeah, so I think that's the key. And I'm sorry I jumped to your question ahead, but look, I think it's important that people who are entering the industry for the first time, or people that are looking to refinance, the normal broker will specialise in potentially home loans and occasionally other businesses, but management rights is so specialised that you need to get the right advice up front. I'm a key supporter of surrounding yourself with industry professionals. I mentioned that in the last question, but from our point of view is we're going to give you advice that's specific to management rights. It's something that we've been doing for a long time. It's something that we understand, and more importantly, you can then feel confident and comfortable that you're getting the right advice, that when you go to your application stage, that you can be confident that there's a good chance that you're going to get through.
Absolutely. And Nick, I think with your background in banking, you're going to understand how to format it right when you're presenting it to banks. You're going to have a lot of insight that maybe other brokers may not have that experience like you have.
Look, I think what we tend to do with our clients is, and rightly or wrongly, Sid, I don't want my clients or your clients, to spend money unnecessarily. So one of the key things that we do is we take a full synopsis of their situation. We look at what they're looking to buy. We interact with all the banks before they get to any contract signing, offers and acceptance, anything like that, and make sure they have the capacity. And then from that moment, once they know they've got capacity and they understand they're ready to go, that's when they can engage you, sign contracts. But I'm a great believer in not spending money or just to throw money away. And so, I think the more astute finance broker will take a client on that journey as opposed to a traditional finance broker who might just see it as a house first and then a business afterwards, whereas obviously from our point of view it's a combined,
absolutely.
And that's where the challenges come with other brokers. And there's, like I said, there's nothing wrong with other brokers, but they just have that, it's a house, let's lend against a house, whereas for us, we're taking the whole business because we understand it, and then we're taking a holistic view of the client and their current situation before we present it to the bank.
Some great content there, and I think we as brokers, we come up with people in all parts and all areas of their journey, and in different stages, and I think it's important from my point of view to you as presenting those clients to you as prepared as they can be. So, which leads me to my next question. How important is it for someone looking to get finance to prepare to speak to you, and what should some of the things they look to prepare for?
It's an interesting question, Sid, because they say fail to plan and plan to fail. But from a preparation point of view for us, there isn't too much they can do because it all depends upon the business they're buying. But I would say that what's key is to ensure that they have all of their financial information up to date. Make sure you've paid the tax man. So make sure all your ATO information is correct.
Advice there,
but really, I probably think the key advice I could give is understand your current situation. So we tend to find a lot of clients that get to that application to the synopsis stage with the bank, and everything looks great, and we get to submission, and then the client says, I didn't realise I had that credit card, or didn't realise I had that personal loan, or even better is, didn't know I had that HEX debt, which also affects people's borrowing capacity. So, whilst we don't expect clients to understand that, from a preparation point of view, I think it's probably the one-liner, which is get all your ducks in a row, but there's not really, other than that, until they know what they're looking for, it's a little difficult for them to prepare. But obviously from our point of view, we take a holistic view of their current situation. So we'll be able to say, okay, based on your current position, we know what sort of deposit you potentially have. These are the types of complexes. When I say types, as in amounts of complexes you could buy, and then over to Sid, let you do your magic.
Fantastic. I like that. Nick, for the new people entering the industry that haven't been through the processes before, what would be a deposit range that would get them into the market for the first time, and what are some of the associated fees and costs?
So it's a very good question, and it's one that can be answered a myriad of different ways, purely because each bank has its own policy around deposits, and also around fees. But let's just stick to the headline question around deposits. The traditional answer is 30%. So most banks will lend up to 70%, depending on the size of the building. But that would be your job to decide which where the client's going to go. But traditionally 30% is a minimum. It may need more than that if it's a smaller complex, but it's 30% deposit. And we use 6% for costs. Okay, and that is predominantly stamp duty, because the Queensland or New South Wales Victorian government is not going to miss you. Right? So it is predominantly that, but it does include legal fees, does include accountancy fees, bank fees, valuations. So they're the numbers that we work off.
Sure. So at a very minimum, 36% would sort of get you in. Okay. So obviously there's a number of ways someone can enter the market for the first time. How soon should someone think about engaging a finance broker if they've decided that this is the industry for them?
It should be the first phone call they make.
Not the second after
No, first. Well, I know there's a reason why I say that. See, this is funny you say that, because you know, that if and when you've decided that management rights is potentially going to be your next vocation, you don't want to waste yours or yours time. You know, when I say yours, the client, or don't want to waste your time, because everyone, Christmas time is usually a time when people come up on, especially to the Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, Cairns, all those beautiful sunny places, and go, this is great, let's move up here and let's go and buy this building. Then don't realise, you know, we talk about the 6% and you go, or sorry, the 30% deposit and 6% cost, and you go, okay, well that's easy. But they don't tell you what they owe. They don't say they've got 6 investment properties and that kind of thing. So the reason I say us first is because we can then give them a guideline and say, okay, based on your current circumstances, you have these assets, these liabilities, we believe you could buy a complex in this range.
So it's similar to the resi market, where you get like almost like a pre-approval process. You get it underway. You know, a balance sheet to sort of depend on.
Exactly right. I don't like pre-approval because it gets us in trouble. Let's go with pre-qualification.
Like that. I like that a lot. So I think we've covered a lot today. Give us some tips or some tricks, or some general advice for someone. And we put ourselves in the position of someone entering the industry for the first time. Give us some fundamentals that you think would help anyone watching today.
So, look, I think, I've mentioned it once, twice, maybe 3 times, but specialised lending, specialised industry. So surround yourself with like-minded professionals, people that know the industry, understand it. So that's your lawyer, your accountant. Make sure you buy from somebody that actually knows what they're doing. And then first thing first is pick up the phone to a finance professional, just to understand your borrowing capacity, so that you can then walk out into the market, be confident about what you can and can't buy. Rather than saying to you, we want the $10 million one on the Sunshine Coast, they might want the $20 million one here on the Gold Coast.
Brilliant. Nick, it's absolutely my pleasure to have you today here talking about management rights. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And no doubt your phone will be there ready for anyone to take a call on that.
Awesome. Good on you, Sid.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.